Yeah, you guys would not believe the day I've been dealing with. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to another session with Rodgon. This is Rodgon After Dark. Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? So, I figured since I didn't really get to do a lesson this morning. I mean, I did get to do a lesson. I got a little bit of a lesson in. But I didn't really get to teach properly. You know, we got to draw a little bit of the eyes, and we got to see the structure of it, and we got to see, like, how I draw it and things. So I guess it was a little bit of a lesson. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel too fulfilled with it. So I wanted to teach a little bit more. And I think that what we're going to focus on heavily today is going to be the shape of the head and how to simplify it into a simple circle. How to simplify it to a circle so that we can actually use this for characters and have it be useful. Right? Because, knowledge and practice without actual application is kind of pointless. So what we're going to do today is we are going to play my favorite music track. My favorite music track of all time, which is Polo and Pan Cyclorama Release Party. Polo and Pan Cyclorama. I don't know why. It's my favorite music. Like, once I heard it once, I was like, oh, this is like my focus music. So I'm going to play that in the background. I'm going to let you guys enjoy seeing me draw this process. And I'm going to try to explain it a little bit because I'm not going to put the music super loud. So I'm going to try to explain it so you guys make more sense of it. So you guys can actually understand it. So you guys can actually use it. Okay? I'm just constantly putting all this information out there so you guys have an easier time drawing. So with that being said, let me take some coffee. It's good coffee. And let's play some music. Boom, 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 boom. As you guys can see, the process doesn't involve drawing a shape in the form of like a oval or something. It involves drawing just any shape you want, dictating how big of a feature section you want by drawing a little triangle, and everything falls into place like a puzzle. The eyes fall at the top of that triangle. The nose comes out of that triangle like a little pyramid. The eye sockets reach to the side of your face. So if you find this side, you just replicate that, and now you have the side of your face. Once you find one, the other one's easy to find, and then this is the side of the eyebrow that indicates the temple. The temple gives you the side of your face. If you split this in half, it gives you your ear. If you give your ear, you can draw your neck, because your neck and your ear are essentially connected. And then from there, you just build your body out based on different points that you learn to connect. And eventually you end up with a whole body system. Because everything has a mapping point and everything can easily be explained, but you just need to learn how to understand that. Like you can draw bodies from little tiny little chibi things. Ta-da! Right? And then all you have to do is learn how to draw extra appendages, and then you have yourself a really cool system. People overcomplicate shit so much. You could have one system that's literally this, with two shapes rotating around each other. And then this could easily be posed in every direction you want. You know? It's a matter of understanding movement. It's not understanding like details and shit like that. That comes later. All the details and stuff like that. Once you have a solid foundation, you can add any details that you want to anything. Because we're creative people. The detail is the least important part. That's the thing that we will struggle with the least. Promise. I promise you. It's you. What do you mean it's me? It is me. Oh. I always struggle with arms reaching forward. Okay, you want to know the trick to it? Is to not be afraid of drawing over your character, like at all. So if you have a character that's like this, right? And his arms are to the side, you know, there's no real depth here, right? If I start moving this, and let's say that we give it a palm, and we'll call it this shape, a little circle. Now, if I take that little circle and I make it really big, and I just treat it like a stick figure, by just making it big, I can make it look like it's coming forward. If I know where it connects to the body, I can just trace the outlines, and I have myself a hand going in space. If I want it to go back, instead of making it big, I'm gonna make it small. And just by changing the size of them and connecting them back to my original point, I have the ability to draw things in perspective. The thing is, a lot of people have an issue with drawing over your shapes. So a lot of people don't like to draw over them because they think that they're gonna mess it up, or I don't know. I really don't understand why people have an issue crossing body parts. It's a big issue to teach people how to draw around their shape in a crisscross fashion. I don't know why it is. But a lot of people are afraid to draw over their shapes, so that's why foreshortening and stuff like that becomes really hard for them. But once you break past that and you learn how you can make that be to your advantage as opposed to seeing it as a detriment, you're going to be able to progress much quicker in your posing. So that's what I suggest. Just learn how to move things in space really easy like this. Just with a little simple body, a little simple connecting point at the top, like a little circle or something from the sides that leaves space for your head. And then just learning how to move a simple ball forward and backwards in space. Once you learn how to do that, you'll start playing around with different sizes and shapes, and then you'll be able to make characters dance and stuff. Okay? It's all about finding the perspective from... I love this track so much. All right. What else do you guys want to know? If you guys learn anything, make sure to just hit that heart button. If you guys like what you hear, what you guys see, that is how you guys help me. I help you, you help me. I give you guys all my knowledge. You guys give me more eyes to see my knowledge. How about that? That seems like a valid trade, right? Yeah, the planes of the face are really simple. The thing is, a lot of people overcomplicate them because they want to copy what the masters do. Right? If you try to copy a master, you're going to fall short because masters have an absorbent knowledge as to how to create these things in all sorts of ways, right? So when you start going in and trying to copy somebody like Loomis or somebody like, I don't know, all the other previous masters that created all these masterful things, well, the thing is, the natural progression is for the next generation to evolve on that, right? So I've studied all these things countless times, and I've come to just simplify it into this. If I can do this, this becomes the mouth area that I can make as big or as little as I want, and then I connect it. And then I have myself access to every character, position, body shape, and character range that I possibly want. This can also change in size. So I can make something have a bunch of different style choices. So understanding that creating 2 circles or 3 circles to map out your face leads to every single mapping point on the face being detailed out in little tiny zones. It just makes sense. And I have an even easier way to find this stuff. Let's say, once you understand this breaking point right here, once you understand this and where this happens in the real face, which is your eyebrow, right? Once you find that, anywhere you draw an eyebrow now becomes the side of your face. Immediately. And it's gonna be the case every single time. Whenever you draw any shape and you draw an eyebrow, that eyebrow is now the side of the face. Because that's where your temple hits, and that's where your cheekbone hits, and that's where everything else hits. So that is a major component in learning how to draw things properly. Bum, 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 bum. So, eyebrow. Oh, magically, I know the side of my face now. Woohoo! I can draw little circles from my eyebrows to the edges of the face. And then from the middle, I can draw another little circle, or I can draw a little triangle to make my nose. Ta-da! You're a wizard. I don't know if I'm a wizard, but I would be a warlock. I'd probably be a warlock. See, the thing is, you can change the variety of the sizing of everything and then just change the styling like that. Right? All you gotta do is find all the components of your body parts and then you have yourself a good head. It doesn't matter the style. Because I'm not teaching you a style, I'm teaching you how to learn to understand your body parts. How to make up and down face? Okay, well, the face looking up, the triangle would be up. So it means that these little circles would lead up. Right? You have your nose, you have all this area already mapped out. The middle of this is your ear. You find the other side easily. And then this becomes your chin, this is your neck, and it connects to your body in the shape of a circle, connecting to your collarbone from your ears, and it just goes bottom of the ear, top of the chin, and you have yourself that. Your eyebrow line is the same, it's right here. Your cheekbone line is right here, so you don't have to guess. Your jaw structure can change depending on how big or how wide you want your character to be. But it's really easy to find out. And everything else is found by just learning how to draw things on a plane, on a round surface. If you want to look down, it's the same thing. Triangle expands down. Side of the face, side of the face. Ear, ear, eyebrow, eyebrow, eyes. You wouldn't see the mouth in this point because it's too high. Maybe if you have a mustache or something like me, you would see a little bit. So the triangle method is, I believe, easier and just superior to some other drawing techniques, especially for beginners, just because it teaches you where everything goes. There's no guessing with this. Like either you find the connecting point or there's a mistake. It's kind of like coding. See, if I wanted to continue this face, I just find that bottom of my cheekbone and draw a circle to however high I want the head to be, and then just connect it. And then I have my cheekbones to my chin, my ear, and then from there my ears can go to things like a neck, into a rib cage, collarbone, and build up from there. Because everything has a point. Everything has a connecting. What is this pen? All right, guys. I'm seeing a serious lack of love here. I'm not seeing enough love. Hit it. Hit me. Mustache is dancing with me right here. Mustache is so cute. Look at him biting at my fingers. Do you even want food? Look at Mustache, you are so cute. Alright. Let's move on to the rest of the page. Any other questions? Any other questions? So we were drawing facing up, facing down, from the profiles, in the front, 3/4, from the inside out, from the outside in. How else can we possibly use this technique? What you eating? That's my pencil. You can't eat my pencils. Can you draw a head using a cylinder? Yeah. The cylinder heads are one of my favorites because all you have, once you realize that the connecting point to your body is a circle, right? And you draw a little compass for the collarbone. If you draw your head like a noodle or like a cylinder coming out of there, you already have the actual jaw because the cylinder already gives you side-to-side action. So you already have that, and guess what? Your neck connects to that, so all you got to do is taper it, and now you have yourself the whole front of your face. And it's just a basic, it's a more easy structure to follow than a circle and the whole, again, circle and ball and like egg shape and shit like that. When you just draw a cylinder, these circles become ambiguous, so you can draw a character looking up or down really, really easy. But the beauty of it is that you can make angles. So if you draw one at an angle, right? If you just draw one at an angle, you can draw characters in really cool perspectives. Like very subtle turns and twists just because you just drew one of them a little bit twistier. So take that to heart to do whatever you want, but I find this to be incredibly useful because that's just how I draw my heads. I can draw something like that, and then I can use one section for the neck, one section for the jaw. And then sometimes you just gotta give it a little bit of space in the back for the brain. But remember, the ear kind of marks the center of it. So whatever you put here goes to the front, and then that ends up being the edge of your face, which ends up being your eye socket, which ends up being your eyebrow, which ends up being the side of your face. So once you find one mapping point, everything else falls into place. There, you get a cat ear girl. Because we're drawing humans, we're not drawing cats. So now you get like a me girl or something. Nope. I don't practice the Loomis method at all. I think I tried it maybe 10 times in college when it made no sense at all because I couldn't understand the concept of slicing an object. You know how it starts? It starts like this and it tells you to slice an object off. I didn't even know how to do that. So I'd be confused. I'd be like, wait, is that just a circle? Or like, what does that mean? Like, and then there was like, yeah, and then draw an arc. I'm like, an arc? What the fuck's an arc? Like, draw an angle, slicing, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, dude, you're talking nonsense here. I don't understand any of this. Like, this is supposed to be a beginner thing? Okay. Yeah, screw you. No. No, beginner is normally like, okay, you have something simple that you can develop on simply and then create depth simply. If you know how to do this, you can draw a skull, which means that you know that this is the eye section. So your eyes just have to fall within here. Your mouth has to fall within here. Your nose has to fall within here. And your ears fall within here. It doesn't really get much simpler than that. It really doesn't. It just makes any shape into a face. And it's awesome. And I love it. And it's finally like getting to the point where it's refined enough that I can just, that I published it. I got it published in Imagine Effects. I got it published in one of my peer-reviewed like journals. Ah! What are you eating? Always eating something. A hand peace sign. You can't be knocking over the tripod, baby. That's the one thing you can't be hitting. Because then everybody online is going to be angry at you. Oh, the guilt worked. The guilt trip worked. I'm doing good as a dad. He straight up looked at me and was like, okay, sorry. Peace. Oh, we just talked about foreshortening too. So I think, I'm sorry, but we already did that. I saw that Illo wanted to collaborate with you. Yeah, they want to collaborate with me. They want to make a special limited edition sketchbook. I got to think of how I want my sketchbook to look and what I want it to have inside or what they allow me. Like, they still haven't given me specifics of like what like range of possibilities I have, but I'm going to make some dope sketchbooks. I'll make some dope ass sketchbooks. Like, and since I could give a shit about just making money, if it's not good quality, I'm not putting my name on that shit. But Illo has been incredibly good. Like, it's been really, really reliable company, and I love their company and their product. They're definitely my favorite sketchbooks. Those and the Neek sketchbooks are my favorites. Remember, eyebrow. All the way to the eyebrow. The eyebrow is the key. The eyebrow is the key. That's why it's important to learn anatomy so that you can understand all these mapping points. A lot of the times, since we draw stylized, right? When we draw really stylized, let's say that I was, let's just draw another face over here. Let's draw that I was drawing a face, right? And I drew my eyebrows up here. I have no idea now how to map that out on my face. I don't have access to that mapping point because I decided to stylize it. So what I would do is I would still draw where it would normally go, which is at the top of the eye socket. I would still draw my eye based on that, so that I have access to that mapping point, even if I stylize the anatomy to be floating up. I still have access to that knowledge so that I know where to put the rest of my body. Understanding where it goes allows you to be able to break the rules in a way that makes sense, instead of it having it just like floating. So understanding is what allows for stylization at a future level. You gotta know where it's supposed to go so that you can draw your character with good foundations, but then you decide to change it, maybe for glasses, right? You like don't want to have the eyeglasses sitting at the same time as the eyebrows or whatever. So that's what you would do. You would be consciously making the decision to change the style. Baby, what are you eating? Where did you get these things? Where did you get this? Dude, I swear to God, you're like a little magic puppy. Like, you just like conjure up things that don't exist. Jesus. Anyways, as we were talking, so when you decide to put things outside of the range of your normal anatomy, that is when things start getting thrown off a little bit. So understanding where they go is important. But then deciding later on to stylize it, that's a choice. And when it's a choice, it becomes a lot more powerful as opposed to doing it by accident or by doing it just through repetition of somebody else's concepts or styles. Like, you need to be able to learn to discern these things for yourself so that you can use them to your own abilities, to the extent that you want them. Show my puppy? Yeah, why not? Say hi, Mustache. Here, baby. Where are you at, baby? Where's my baby boy? Officer Mustache. There you go. All right. There you go. All right. That's enough puppy time. There you go. Okay. No. Now it's Dad's turn. Dad's turn to be on camera. All right. Let's go on. This method can be used also for other things that isn't just humans. Very easily, you can turn this method into drawing things like animals and stuff. Very, very easily by just drawing something like the little beanbag in front, connected to the triangle. And now you have access to drawing things like bears, anything with a skull, really. Anything with a skull is now free access in game. It's really cool. Triangle, big socket, bird. Easy. The imagination is the only thing that's going to stop you from being able to do this into anything you want. This can literally be absolutely anything. Once you learn how to draw the skull, the only thing keeping you from drawing different things is just changing the way that the bottom part works. And now you have access to all those things. All you need to do is do a little bit of work researching how each animal uses the skull. My puppy happens to use it to eat a lot of shit. So, understanding again this basic concept is the easiest way to unlock learning how to draw a skull. Understanding how you can manipulate these inside shapes is going to take a while, but you can use these to be able to draw different species really easy. Okay? You can modify each one of these body parts in different angles, positions, shapes to allocate them to different situations. So you can adjust this to be as exaggerated, as cool, as dynamic, as evil, as awesome as you want. So this is going to help you with your comics a lot too. Can I do an alligator? The alligators are the ones with the big faces, right? So that would be something like that. Boom, boom, boom. A bird. Same thing. So that's how you would use that to make an alligator. The concept itself is really simple, but it's going to take a lot of research for you guys to master it. See how easy it is? It's like, it almost feels like cheating, honestly. Like once you see things like this, it's like cheating. Because the things that were hard before are not hard anymore. The things that you like used to spend all these time like figuring out how it worked, how it like functioned, little by little, like just understanding a little bit more of how bones work, it gives you access to being able to draw really cool things. And again, research is key. Just research and research and research. Paying attention to what you're trying to draw, paying attention to what you see, paying attention to things like that that's how you just develop these things. They don't just come out of nowhere, and they don't come without you actually paying like a lot of time and effort into them. But at the end of the day, it's totally worth it if you actually take the time to do it. Can you draw some more humans? Yeah. I'm gonna go see Dune tonight with a buddy. I don't really know what to expect. I'm guessing it's something with deserts. It's magic, you know. Did you watch the first one? I think I fell asleep on it. More than anything, I'm gonna be going to keep my buddy company and actually like spend time with my best friend. It's not necessarily about the actual movie, you know. Like half the time, whenever you go do something with people, for me at least, since I'm not a very social human being, so to me, it's more about the enjoyment of the people that are around me. You know, like if the people around me are being joyful, then I can be joyful. If not, my brain is constantly wondering how I can just make their life easier and more happy so that they can feel happiness, so that I can feel happiness. That's how my brain works. And that's also why it's really hard to have like self-fulfillment and self-love and stuff like that for myself, because I've never really known how to do that. But I'm learning. I'm slowly, taking the steps needed to learn. It's not an artist thing. It's a people that are depressed thing. Just happens to be that a lot of artists are depressed. Can you draw a mouse? Yeah. Mouse have big eyes, so we're gonna draw 2 big eyeballs for the eye sockets, and then we're gonna draw a triangle, and then we're gonna draw a really long nose. Gonna draw some ears at the sides, coming from here and from here. And we make the mouth a little bit chunkier. The nose, give it a little bit of depth. And you can even draw somebody like Mickey Mouse in a very creepy way. Let's see. Somebody shooting a gun. You know.
La pluie, on l'aime beaucoup, même quand elle est contrastée ou...
Oh, is that it? No, did we go through the whole soundtrack? I think we did. That's okay. A mermaid? Mermaids are easy because mermaids are essentially people just sitting down, right? If you have a mermaid, the mermaid itself, the legs are essentially a human that has its legs together. So that is the anatomy of a mermaid. So if you think about it like that, it becomes a lot easier to draw. Draw your hip bones. Draw a person that has their legs together. And then you have access to drawing a mermaid. Beautiful love hair, right? When you start getting creative with this, that's when the mermaids start really coming to life. You know, when you start bending your legs as if you were like... Start twisting, start turning. Keeping it nice and simple will help you do that. And then whenever you're ready to actually take it to the next level, just add the little beautiful little tails and stuff. Using your hip bones, you can use that to create the little things that go around. And using the same techniques that I've been teaching you guys, you can come up with your bodies. What was the soundtrack to? It's just a Polo and Pan Cyclorama release party. That's what it's called. It's been one of my favorite soundtracks in recent years. It's just a nice little focus thing that has so much variety to it. Like it changes every like 10, 15, 30 seconds. So it's just like a constant array of different sounds and different like music that I find incredibly soothing. So I highly recommend it. What is your favorite artist? I I have people that I aspire to beat. I don't have people that I necessarily go like, oh my gosh, I want to be exactly like them. I have never had that in my brain. It's weird. I don't really have idolations for people. Like, I've never been one to fangirl or feel like somebody can't be, I don't know, like celebrities and stuff like that. I don't really care about them being celebrities. Like, stuff like that. I just don't see why anybody else is put above anybody else, right? And that's also the reason why I don't really think that, you know, I'm the shit a lot of the times, because, you know, who am I? You know? But I've met a lot of people, and some of the people that I admire the most are Dean Yeagle. That dude was a cartoonist for Playboy for a very long time, and he was a person that did a lot of awesome things, like the characters for Cookie Crisp and stuff like that. He came up with them. So that's really cool. Another person that I really enjoy, but I don't really think that I want to draw like them, is Scott Campbell. Scott Campbell is one of those people that have a very peculiar style, and they've developed that grandly, right? They know exactly how to draw every aspect of their designs, and it makes it look incredibly amazing. Now, his style has refined a little bit over the years, but again, it's one of those things where I like his work a lot, but at the same time, I wish that he would evolve a little bit more into his own, like, you know, like more his own style instead of just refining what he already possesses. So that's the one thing with him that I'm normally like, oh, okay, well, it's really, really fucking dope, but, you know, I haven't really seen much progression. Then the next one that I really like is Chris Sanders. Chris Sanders is, for me, he's one of the best pinup artists in the world. For me, he is just an amazing pinup artist. He has a super dynamic styling. His faces are recognizable pretty much anywhere. And he essentially came up with the whole Lilo and Stitch situation. So he is an amazing pinup artist, and I absolutely love his style. If I have it in front of me, I can replicate it, but from memory, it's really, really hard to replicate his movement because he has so much curvy, like stylized anatomy to his stuff. And he has thighs for days. He draws thighs for days. He loves thighs and boobs, right? Chris Sanders loves himself some boobies. But the way that he like draws all his stuff combined with his little like super cute animals that he draws is just super, super like up there with some of the best like that I believe are the best. So Chris Sanders, my hat's off to you, buddy. I have yet to actually achieve the level that you have yet. But I will one day. Just came in. What's your opinion on Joel Madeira? He's amazing. Oh, I don't really know his work much, but I know that he's one of the big three, right? Like, he's like one of those people that came up and just made a name for himself in comics. So, you know, for as much as I don't really understand and know his work too much, I know his name, and if I know his name, I know that he must be somebody. So, how do you draw arms? Arms are complicated. Arms have a lot of parts to them. You know, they have their shoulder, they have the middle section that splits your tricep and your bicep. Then it goes from this middle section to your elbow and then to the shin bone. The forearm bone. And then you have your forearm muscles that wrap around your bicep and wrap around your bone, going around both ways into your forearm, into your wrist. Then to your hand, it has metacarpals that take you down to your knuckles. And those knuckles give you access to your fingers. So the hand itself is very complex. The hand itself has a lot of things going for it. But there's a lot of easy ways to go about drawing it a little bit easier, right? You don't have to draw all this. In essence, you just have to really learn how to draw a circle, draw a line coming from the top line, and understand that if you draw a stick figure like that, all you need to do is give it the fleshy parts in towards your body, right? Keeping that in mind, when you get more complicated in your shapes, right, with your collarbone and everything in there, that same concept applies. And then inside of that, if you split it in two, and then you just overlap two circles, you have access to muscles and movement. Because all you got to do is move one of those circles. So all you have to do is learn where they come from, which is the top of your arm, of your top of your body. And then you draw circle 1, circle 2. Okay? And that is how you learn how to draw them a little bit better. The legs are very similar. You draw a circle, you find the edges that come from the side, and then you draw 2 circles. You can learn how to draw bodies in like an afternoon. And then when you learn how to overlap, right? When you just draw 2 overlap, draw 1 more to overlap, and then you have your wrist. And your hand. Again, it comes from the top. The top, and then if you want to go down, it goes this way. If you want to go across, it goes this way. If you want to go up, it goes this way. Okay, Rod, I have a problem. The leg's angles never match the torso. The leg angles never match the torso. I don't really know what you mean by that. Your torso, as in your belly button, and your rib cage, right? Probably. So your legs normally naturally go down your body, right? They just naturally do that. So if you find the edge of your body and then you draw a line, that's the outside edge of your body. The inside of how wide you want your legs to be is just determined by how wide that line is inside. So if you want a really thick leg, you draw it a lot more thick on both sides, and then they end up overlapping a little. I don't really understand what you mean by not knowing or how matching the angle, unless you mean like your body's going one way and your legs are going the opposite. But even then, that still looks fine because that's just a character standing in a field from a slightly different angle. So I don't really know what you mean by your statement. I'm trying to draw in a mist with ink, and I find it hard by now. Draw mist. Mist? Well, let's say that we have an object, right? And I want to make this misty. I would draw the smoke, right? And then I would draw little crosshatches around the smoke to make the smoke look white. By adding little crosshatches, I can make it seem like clouds, fog, whatever. Little tiny baby crosshatches. That's how I would do it, at least. And then people. A grass field mage. All right, so one more drawing, and we're gonna call it a night. So what should we learn for the last thing? Last thing to learn tonight, what should it be? Lightning is quick. All you gotta do is alternate in the steps. All you gotta do for lightning is make a staircase and then shift it a little bit. Ta-da! And then alternate that. Once you learn this, then it becomes a matter of just doing that in fun different ways. Okay? That is lightning. Or you can just make it with like squiggly lines and then just make it like overlap a little. That's another way to do lightning. You can make it all graffiti-ish by giving it depth. Yo, hear me out. All right, I'm gonna hear you out. What's up? What's up? I'm hearing you out. Taking forever. Come on, Jesse. Let's go. I think he didn't say anything. I think that the other important thing about drawing lightning, it's the shadows. Nah, not really. No, that's secondary. Like, it's like that's an environmental thing. The shadows that it creates is irrelevant because that's constant depending on something else in the scene. The light itself, light does not cast shadows. It's the objects that it hits that cast shadows. So if you have a light, a flame doesn't cast a shadow. A flame doesn't cast a shadow. It's the objects around it that make it cast a shadow. It's the objects around it that cast shadows. The flame doesn't. The actual light source doesn't have shadows. Jesse, you left me hanging, man. You left me hanging. How? But how could you get the powerfulness of the lightning that comes? It's from the impact that you do. Like, it's depending on how you draw the scene. Like, if you have something like impacting the ground, drawing something like that will be all you really need to do to make it look like it's impacting. Right? If you add little sketchy lines to it, it makes it even more powerful. But you don't have to draw any shadows to this. All you have to do is learn how to draw dynamic line work. Shadows are a crutch for people that think they need them for be able to design something. If you need shadows to draw something, you don't know how to draw it yet. If the only way you can detail something out is by adding shadows, then you don't know how to draw that thing yet. Just an observation. It's magic. You know, it didn't even start. Okay, Jesse. I don't know. I'm never gonna take questions from Jesse again. Jesse. You don't get to ask questions again. You left me hanging, man. What about the neck placements? I always get bigger necks. Do we? What time is it? What time is it? I think we can go into one more part. All right, let's finish up the page. Okay, so the neck. Let me explain the neck really easy for you guys because you guys are going to be blown away by this. Okay, you guys are going to be like, what the fuck? Really? It's that simple, Rod? Like, no fucking way it's that simple, Rod. It's that simple. Your neck and your head don't really have a differentiation in size. When you're looking at them from the front, your neck is kind of about as wide as your actual face. So that's the very first misconception that we have. The very misconception is that their necks are considerably thinner. That's not the case. Our neck comes from our rib cage, and our rib cage can be formed like a little egg, and then with a circle on the top of it, meaning that the rib cage is a little bit wider than our head is normally going to be. This, if we take this same concept in consideration, it gives us a proper shaping for our head. This, if you draw a little compass, it gives you access to knowing the width of your arms. It gives you the collarbone and it gives you the connecting points of the neck. From the ears down to the middle of the collarbone is how you provide yourself your muscles. From there, your collarbone helps to give you the middle of your neck, and the rest of it just kind of falls into place. Okay? So, understanding the width of your neck comes from understanding the upper part of your rib cage. Your rib cage is an egg with a circle on top and a compass for your collarbone. This is what gives you access to being able to draw your arms. It also gives you access to the face. If you draw a cylinder, you have access to drawing the face in a lot of cool ways. Okay, connect them back to the middle of this from your ears, and now you have all the muscle structure that you need. Any advice on finding your inner voice as an artist? Okay, this is my opinion on this. And you're going to, you can take this with a grain of salt, or you can take this as something to live your career by, because this is how I got to where I am. Okay? The way that I found my way as an artist was by consistently just doing the things that I found happy for myself. The moment that I stopped doing things for other people with my artistic abilities, I found myself. When I started putting more of a value on what I found cool as opposed to what other people might find appealing, that is when I found my audience. And when I found my audience, those people encouraged me more to pursue the things that I felt were the right path. And that's not just having yes people, it's having people that just want to see you grow and succeed. Once you find a handful of people that are willing to help you through the struggles, and that means fans, people that comment on your things a lot. For example, for me, it's the lovely people in the form of my mods. Every single one of my mods, including the people that I have never met, have been people that are incredibly useful in the way of support for me. Right? Understanding that I have that support for doing the thing that I love is something that you can't even begin to quantify. You need to find those people. You need to find the people that are going to be there with you and help you and power you through things, because it's really hard to do it on your own. It's really hard. Like, I tried it for 15 years and I got places, but the moment that I found my community, the moment that I found the people that I wanted to be around and collaborate with and work with, the people that keep me safe in the chat, for example, like I'm not joking. Like, you guys is in the chat, like the mods, you guys are lifesavers. You guys keep the sex bots and stuff like that off from and the trolls from ruining this thing for everybody. So let's make sure that we give our mods a big thank you, because they're the ones that keep this going smoothly. Let's talk a little bit more about the neck. Let's say that I want a different kind of neck, though. I don't want this big masculine neck. I want something a little bit more dainty. So once you have your head shape and you find your ears and you draw this like a cylinder down into your rib cage, guess what? You can just taper this. You can taper that, and then ta-da, you have as thin a neck as you want, but you don't lose that connection. Okay? Taper it all you want, draw whatever you want, design-wise, but now you know where it connects. Kind of like with the other body parts, the moment that you learn how it works, all of a sudden you're able to stylize it a little bit easier. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you want to do like a big manly neck or if you want to make like a more girly, like soft looking neck. That connecting point is the same and it works the same way. Your body, the rib cage, everything else is the same for both men and women. That's, like, the hip bones are the only one that's different. Like for men, you have little hip bones. For women, you have big hip bones. So that's the only difference, really. What's the difference between male eyes and female eyes? I don't think there's a difference between the eyeballs. I think the difference comes down to the stylization of the eyelashes. The actual eyeball in itself is the same, right? Up until this, there's no distinction between guy or woman. The moment that you add eyelids of a certain style, it starts giving the appearance of one being a woman, maybe one being a dude, or ambiguous. The dude ones are mostly ambiguous because there's no masculine way to draw an eye. There is a feminine way to draw an eye by adding eyelashes, but there's no masculine way of drawing an eye. I guess you could draw like really boxy ones, but then you can still use that for women, so it doesn't matter. There's no real there's no masculine way of drawing eyes, but there's a feminine way of drawing eyes. And that involves just the upper line that you draw. Out of your two lines that intersect to create an eyeball, the top one can be designed to have a lot of style. You can do anything you want with these. Any sort of styling, as long as it interlaps with another line, you can draw yourself eyes really quickly. A guy eye is just this, a darker line intersecting. There's no stylization to the ends. That's a guy, woman, whatever eye. Maybe my male characters look female because the necks are daintier, then maybe. It might be. Yeah, if you always taper the necks in, that's going to make your characters look more feminine. So if you have your characters, and one of them has an average neck, and then one of them has a tapered neck, you see the very little difference, but how much of a structure difference it makes. And it also makes it so you need to draw the shoulders bigger if you want to draw anatomy on them. Rib cage, hip bones. Could you show how to draw heavier eyeliner? Just make the line darker, man. 2 lines, right? 2 lines. Make this one darker. As dark as you want. As dark, as heavy as you want. Okay? Leave the bottom one a little bit less dark. And then just give yourself whatever style you want. That's how you make as much eyeliner as you want. Just make as heavy of a line as you want. Keep the bottom one relatively thinner. And draw your style. Shoulders. Okay. Your shoulders. Top of the rib cage. You have your arm, you have your head space, and you have your middle, right? Your arms are going to connect from this endpoint. But this is not the middle of your arm. This is the outside contour of your arm. This is going to be the outside of your arm. And then you're going to always draw your volume towards the inside. Always, always, always towards the inside. And you're going to have beautiful hands working every single time. Now, once you have that aspect of things, connecting the shoulder is as simple as learning how to do 3 points. 1 point in the front, 1 point in the back, and 1 point for length. 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here. And you have access to shoulders. So 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Once you have your shape, you can add your shoulders after. The shoulders are kind of like, they're more of a muscle that is there for show than it is for function. It's something that's above the functional muscles, and that's why it throws off so much of your anatomy. Because we see this bump, and if you just eliminate that bump, everything becomes easier. If you just eliminate the bump from your shoulder, your body becomes incredibly simple to draw. The moment that you try to add that bump, that's when normally the complications begin. That's when people start like freaking out, like, I don't know where to put my stuff. Ah! But if you eliminate that, and you just add it later, it makes it a little bit easier to be able to see these poses in a very simple way. And then you add your shoulder after. How did you create dynamic posing with the ribcage shape? It's an egg. I don't know how much you can make with an egg as in dynamic posing, but it's the interaction between the egg and the bottom part that allows you for dynamic posing, right? It's the interaction between these two. So if you have them nice and straight, you can move your limbs around and get dynamic posing. If you go egg, circle, circle, and you change the position of them, well, now you have access to even more dynamic stuff. Again, the egg has a compass, and the compass leads to 2 little lines that give you your arm, and then you draw your volume inside. Your head is a cylinder. Rodgon, can you draw a magical toad that sells potions with a horse and a wagon? Yes, I can totally do that. Let's draw that right here. So, a horse and a wagon. So, he's a magical one. So, our horse is probably going to be somewhat magical, I think. So, let's give it a Pegasus or a unicorn feel. He's going to be walking forward. And he's going to be pulling a cart, so he's going to have his little thing right here. and his harness, and he's gonna be pulling. And my wagon is gonna be right there. He's gonna have his little wings. Then he's gonna be pulling it from the stagecoach. And he's just gonna be sitting here with his hat. Very gestural. Let's see. Perfect soundtrack. Yeah, I like Polo and Pan. They're really cool. How do I get the body proportions correct? I don't. You think that this is the same proportions as this? As this? As this? The thing is, I'm not necessarily drawing the perfect proportions each time. I just know what's inside of the human body, right? So if I know that any shape I draw, in any shape I draw, if I can find an egg, I can find the rib cage. If I can find an egg, I can find my collarbone. If I can find my collarbone, I can find my arms. If I can find my arms, I can find my hands, and then if I can find my rib cage, I just have to find two circles at an angle to draw my hip bones from. Let's do this one here. That circle gives me my head, and I have access to my whole body from there. Well, yeah, because I'm choosing the right shapes and the right angles. That's why it looks human. But if I chose something different, let's say I chose a different angle for these things, I can very easily draw something that's not human. Because an animal has exactly the same parts as we do. Most mammals do. So a rib cage and the hip bones, just used differently, can give you access to all the animals. It's just because we're all mammals. We all have those elements. So you can do that with a dragon. You can do that with a dinosaur. You can do that with everything. An egg into a circle, into a collarbone, into two hip bones. It's the same concept with absolutely everything that has a rib cage and hip bones. Let's draw something cool. Let's draw myself drawing on a tree. So this one would go here. Let's make it go this way. I remember you drew yourself as a dog raccoon creature. Well, that was Archie. And Archie's gonna make a comeback at some point. Whenever I become happy again, I'll bring him back. How about that? Whenever I become joyful again, I will bring my happy character back. So when you guys start seeing him around, you'll know that I'm doing a little bit better. I wasn't really into cosplay. My ex-girlfriend was into cosplay. I needed to be a part of that because otherwise I never got to be around her. So I had to adapt to a lot of things that I didn't really particularly like too much. I found most of the people in the cosplay community to be incredibly toxic and rapey people. I never really enjoyed the vibe that I ever got from a lot of the people in the community. I heard a lot more negative things about most of the men in the community than I wish I would have known. And, that just made me really paranoid around, my girlfriend that used to do photo shoots with a lot of these guys. So it just made me distrust the community a lot. And I don't really enjoy cosplay. Like I said, I just did it because that was the thing that X did. And I didn't want to be left out of her life. I wanted to try doing what she liked. And I also, was trying to look out for the fact that she was kind of naive to how a lot of people are in the world. So, it's kind of hard to explain to people. Not in their head. She wasn't in their head. She's incredibly smart. She believes in good. She believed in the good of people, and I don't. I got taught really early in life not to trust people. People tend to not have the best intentions for you. They have the best intentions for themselves, but very rarely do they have the best intentions for you as an individual. So I have learned that over struggles and issues and problems, but if you were a fan of both of us, yeah, a lot of people were. But a lot of people didn't see what was going on behind the closed doors, I was treated very badly. I was treated constantly like I wasn't good enough, like I wasn't providing enough, like what I decided to do with my career and my life was a joke. She's the reason that I quit my YouTube. She's the reason that most of my sketchbook tours got deleted. She's the reason why most of my sketchbooks don't have a lot of art that was inspired by anyone else, because she went in and ripped them out of my pages. So I don't think that should be the treatment that you get as a person that you love or care for. And unfortunately, it took me a very long time, and it took for her leaving me for me to realize that was the issue. The way that she wanted me to be was directly against to everything that I wanted out of life. And me trying to comply with that just made me have a really bad life. Bad, stressful. I felt incompetent. I felt inept. I felt like I couldn't do anything that she wanted out of me, and therefore made me feel like less of a man. And when I was compared to other men that could, that was essentially the straw that broke the camel's back and destroyed my self-esteem. I was manipulated very badly. And I was gaslighted into believing that my goals were shit. And the worst part is, I believed her. So, in her attempts to make me a better man, in her words, in her attempts to make me a better man, she didn't like the person I was. So why the fuck are you with me? You know, I'm not a puppet. I'm not somebody to mold. And, you know, when I started realizing that through therapy, because it took a lot of therapy to realize that stuff. You know, when I realized that, it was, you know, I was like, okay, cool. All right. No, I guess I have no idea of the people that are doing good to me or bad to me. So I'm just going to be overly cautious from now on to make sure that nobody ever does that again to me. So it's just, and that was like 2 years ago. That still affects me to this point. You know, and it's just, I don't know, it's just something that sticks with you. Like, you just remember that maybe women don't think of you very highly because you don't make absorbent amounts of money. And that's literally what got instilled in me through her. Was like, money. That's the only thing that matters, really. Money. So since I'm not pursuing money, I should just not even care about trying to pursue women in general. That's what I got. So lately it's just been me and my puppy, man. Me and my puppy. I go out on dates once in a while. I've met a couple awesome people. But in all reality, it's really hard for me to see myself as a person that's gonna sit down and like be with another person for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, because I've come to realize that I don't provide the things that most women want nowadays. So why make myself feel like shit? Might as well just treat myself to anything I want and then whatever, man. But anyways, enough of my ranting of my love life. Thank you guys so much for keeping me company while we listen to my favorite music. You guys are awesome. You guys kick butt. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another lesson. And until then, just be safe out there, okay? If you guys go out partying, just be safe. Don't drink and drive or do stupid stuff. Well, do stupid stuff, but don't do stupid stuff and get hurt. Okay? Take care, everybody. Good night.